Hi, it's Jetta here,
What's on today's menu?
cooking chicken carbonara pasta-ish dish, and it is simply amazing. So simple to cook in about 10 or 15 minutes, and amazing dinner. So I hope you enjoy the cooking class, and please click through over to goodfoodeating.com, and I hope to see you there so you can enjoy some wonderful dinners. Now here's the class.
Good food eating. Yeah.
Today we're going to make a delicious chicken carbonara pasta sauce, except I'm going to be using steamed cabbage as my pasta alternative. So the first thing I want to do is shred my cabbage, and I'm just going to do that with a knife. So I'm going to cook the sauce for two. So I've got about a quarter of a cabbage here, and I'll probably need the whole thing to steam. And the good thing about it is if you cook a little bit too much, you can always keep it in the fridge to use in another dish. And I'm simply going to put that in a steamer, put it over the heat and let it steam while I prepare the rest of the ingredients. And I'll put that on and be back in a second. Right, so my cabbage is on to boil, ready to steam, and I'm going to continue to prepare my ingredients. So I've got one onion here, so first I'm just going to peel that and dice it. Cut in half, cut through a few times, and then down. So dice your onion. I'm going to set that aside in a bowl. We've got chicken. This is a pretty quick and easy meal to prepare. So just get any excess fat off the chicken. This one's not too bad. And I'm going to dice this, so I'll cut it lengthwise. I don't have to be too fussy about getting it perfect. I've got just 2 chicken thighs, so I'm just going to dice those for this dish. I can hear my cabbage is just about to boil, so that's great. It'll be on its way to cooking. So when we're ready to cook up this sauce, it'll be great because it is only going to take a short amount of time to cook this sauce. Bacon. I've got 3 shortcut pieces of bacon here, but you can use 2 strips of bacon. It doesn't really matter, just 2 strips of bacon or 3 or 4 pieces of rindless shortcut bacon. Depends where you are in the world and what you can access. So we just want to dice up the bacon. Set that aside in your bowl. Lastly, just beat the egg. Crack it in a bowl and beat the egg, because we're going to be using the egg to thicken the sauce at the end. And the rest of the ingredients I'm using in my sauce is some white wine, olive oil to get cooking, a bit of garlic oil, and some salt and pepper. And that's about it. Super quick and easy. So let's go over and cook it. Put a bit of my garlic oil. So here I've got my homemade garlic oil, and I'm going to put about 1 teaspoon in the bottom there and let that heat up. Okay, once the pan's hot, add your onion into the pan. You'll start to smell that aroma of that garlic oil starting to come off, and you'll know it's hot enough to add the onions. So add those onions and coat them in the beautiful garlic oil by moving them around the pan. And just let those cook. We're going to just cook those a bit so they go a bit brown. Give them the occasional stir, and then just leave them to continue cooking. Right, now I'm going to add my bacon to the pan since my onions are starting to brown. Add the bacon and we're going to allow that to cook and brown slightly. Beautiful, it already smells good. We'll just leave that for a couple of minutes. Again, give it a stir occasionally just to get that bacon evenly browned. Oh, you can see it's looking delicious. It's going to give so much flavour to the dish by browning off the onions and the bacon. Just continue to let that cook. Give it another stir. And I'm just going to check my cabbage. Yeah, my cabbage is quite done, so I'm just going to turn that off and let it finish steaming. Now I'm going to add my chicken to the pan here, in with the bacon and onion, and allow that to just spread it out so it gets onto the bottom of the pan and starts to cook. Just leave that to cook for a minute. Give it a stir around. Chicken's starting to brown, that's beautiful. Let that cook a little bit more. Then we're going to add our white wine to the mix. Okay, I've just left that for about another minute. So now I'm going to add 3 cupfuls of white wine and just pour that over my chicken. It'll steam right up, that's okay. It's going to give us a lot of flavour. So just give that a stir now, get that flavour all through. The alcohol burns out of the wine as you cook it. Just add it in to give it some flavour. Next we're going to add some pepper, so quite a generous amount of pepper we're putting in there. Give it a bit of spice, and again quite a bit of salt. And lastly, now we're going to stir in our coconut cream. So I've got about 3/4 of a cup. I won't put it all in, I'll just leave a little bit in and see, because we don't want it to be too runny, but our egg's going to thicken up that sauce in just a minute. So I'm just going to leave that to see how it's boiling now. That's good. I'm going to turn the sauce off. I'm just going to leave it sit for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to come back, reheat it just slightly and stir in the egg. But I didn't put quite the 3/4 of a cup because this is quite a thin coconut cream. Some coconut creams are thicker. Just depends how big your chicken thighs and pieces of bacon are too, but it's anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup. And then that's going to allow the chicken to rest and finish cooking, and when I reheat it, it'll just be enough to stir in the egg. So we'll come back in a couple of minutes and we'll finish the process. Okay, so I've just let my chicken rest there for a couple of minutes to allow it to finish cooking. I always used to think you have to overcook chicken a lot, but you don't. It's better to be undercooked, and then if you let it rest, it'll finish cooking, because then it'll be lovely and tender. So I want to put it on a low simmer. I'll turn that heat down a bit. So we just put it on a low simmer. We don't want to boil it. We're going to add the egg in with a fork to just thicken that up. We don't want to boil the egg so that the sauce goes like a scramble. And actually, that's hot enough. I'm going to turn the heat off and just continue to stir that in. So you can see the egg is slightly starting to scramble, and that's as much as we want it to go. So It thickens the sauce that doesn't turn into a full-fledged scramble. Beautiful. So there's our sauce, our delicious carbonara sauce, and we're ready to go and serve it. So here we are about to serve. It's as simple as that to make, and the sauce will be creamier sometimes depending on what coconut cream you use. If you use a watery coconut cream, it may not be as creamy, so you look for a creamy one. I've used a more watery one this time, but regardless, it's still going to taste delicious. So I've served my steamed cabbage into a bowl, filled it up, and that's my pasta alternative. Delicious. And I'm going to serve this delicious sauce on top of it. Enough for 2 people we've made here. And there you have it, delicious. A chicken carbonara sauce with steamed cabbage as a pasta alternative. How good did that look, that chicken carbonara pasta-ish dish? It really is delicious, so I hope you'll give it a try. Have a great day.